Hello and welcome to the next edition of H. Paul Models. I'm going back to, can I call it mother's milk? World War II, and I've got myself, well, I've had it in the stash quite some time, a Liberator. So I'm going to be building this. I do like the 4-engine heavies, and so yeah, let's crack on. Right, so with the many Airfix models, it's always the Cockpit. So I've done production line. So let's get modelling. Is it modelling? I don't know. Creating. So, oh, look at the state of that. Hang on a minute. Right, clean those bits up. Get these little bits in here first. Oh, Christ. I do like these heavies because it's loads and loads of detail that I can drop. I mean, I can that goes into these models, and yeah, I just like building them. Let's see if I can just get that in there like that. There's the first one. Now, if I'm clever enough, not too clumsy, can get that one in there as well. Oh dear. Bit of a fail. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. That's why I get this in this hole.
What?
There's no laughing in the cheap seats after I said that as well. Oh, I'll tell you what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to do this. Whippy tweezer time. Grip on that, that's better. Now I can hold it up. And then that will go in there. And then I'll turn it round. There we go. Now I'm going to let them go off before I do the next few steps, because I know what'll happen if I don't. They'll get knocked to kingdom come. Right, next piece. A little bit of glue in there. And then, having rehearsed this, dry fitted it, whatever you want to say, it should go in without any bother. Hey, look at that. Marvellous. Oh, cripes, he says as he knocks it. Oh. There we go. I find the grippy tweezers, I don't know if they've got a proper name or not, let me know in the comments, really are a boon for doing things like this, because it just holds the small parts while you're setting them. So yeah, that's really good. Now I'm going to move on to these chairs, which look very interesting. So being that one goes in there like that, I believe. It looks like it sits in there. Oh, crikey. Yeah. I can just get that to lay flat in there. And then I'll use a bit of Tamiya for this, I think. A little spot in each one. Gosh. Gosh, like that. And just lay that down, let it go off. And then do the next one. There. And a little bit in there. I'm just going to push that home. That's it. And let that settle. Cool. Now I've got to stick that bit in there, which looks pretty straightforward, to be fair. Let's put a little bit of the old doobry what's it on there. Lift that up. And then see if I can just drop that in. Oh, that's lovely. There we go, that was on. Yep, that's in. And now the seats, which go in these grooves here. Oh, take the lid off, might work better. A little bit like that, a little bit like that. And drop them in. Oh crikey. Blind as a bat. Get in there. Oh cripes. Why is that? I think that's got it. Let's do that one. That one in there as well. Oh. Oh my goodness, that's it, it's in. That was a bit of a fettle. Last bit of the cockpit. A little tiny dribble. That'll be more than enough. And that slots in there, I believe. There we go. That's in. Lovely jubbly. I'll just hold, oh, that's it, hold that like that, push that together and just let that go off now. Let that all cure for 10-15 minutes and then carry on. Off camera I've finished assembling all the small parts to make the front of the aircraft, and the instructions asked me to paint it 226. Well, I've only got 102 army green, which close enough. I'm happy with that. So, here goes nothing. Everything in the camouflage green colour, and now using starter pot paint I'm just going to touch up the seats, panels and everything else. Now these starter pots, I know they're not very popular with some modelers, but I've had these for absolute years and I maintain them with thinners just to keep them viable for use, because I think they come in very handy for this sort of thing. Oh yeah, just a bit of gentle painting inside cockpits and whatnot. So this is 159, which is a slightly darker green than a camo green I used before. So just to give the seats a bit of a darker, I don't know what, a darker shade of green than what's around them. Oh yeah, that's going on quite well, that. Yeah, I've had these pots for years and years and years. Until they get used, or I need paint from the airbrush, they stay in my little box. And unless it goes absolutely rock solid, which they don't tend to do because I maintain them, it's a good source of paint to have. So I've done all the internal painting. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of masking tape, some of this, which I think came in a Mary Rose starter kit I did years ago, and just paint that bit of masking tape. I'll slice this into 4 lengths when it's dried, and then make seat harnesses out of them so they can be seen through the clear parts when the model's finished. I quite like that little touch. I'll let that go off, and then I shall slice it into 4, as I've already said, and we'll see where we go from there. The instructions now asking me to drill a hole in the fuselage parts. I've got other bits to fix, but the paint's drying, so using my little hand drill I shall do that. Just make sure that it's the right place on the instruction sheet, which it is, and just drill them out. There we go. It's that simple. Funny thing about this drill, my grandparents bought it for me when I first started my apprenticeship in electronics. Cool, that must have been, crikey, so many years ago. I also believe it came from the store or the shop that we'd all call Maplins. I mean, how many years ago was that? Yeah, so I suppose really that's enough of my family tree and monkeys in it. So I'll get on with drilling these holes. Oh yeah, tip from me, I don't know if people want to follow this or not. Once you've drilled the hole one way, I always put the drill back the other, because it just removes any detritus from the outside of the model. Just give it a quick run through. It saves you filing it and scalpeling it and everything else. It just loosens those bits off. The next bit on the agenda is what I think is the radio operator navigators area. So that is a lovely fit, so I'm going to put some revel around this piece, just on there, and a little bit up there, because it seems to want to sit there, and very carefully I'll see if I can drop that in. There we go. Oh, that's a lovely fit. Next section is the wing spar, I suppose. So just a couple of dabs of revel. I'm not going to go too mental with it. There we go. And we'll sink that into there. I've got a horrible feeling I might have to repaint this bit, but for the moment let's just get it together and worry about that later. Another paint, that'll do colour. It asks for 128, I got 129, it's a grey. This is close enough. So I've spray painted the Bombay part of the fuselage as well. I was sprayed a little bit, but I touched that up with some of the green later. But yeah, that came out quite well. So I'll just do the bit that's on the sprue, and then we can get to further assembly. To the wing spars and Bombay. Little touch along there. Slot that in to there, like that. Another lovely fit, well done Airfix. Obviously I want that square with the fuselage, otherwise it's going to be a bit rubbish when it comes to fitting the wings. I think that's alright, that's all good. Yep, I mean the detail in that is amazing, rivet detail. all the other stuff. I'm not repainting these bits because I like them as they are. Might not be historically correct, but my model. So I fitted the rear section of the aircraft. Dry fitted, I mean. So I'm going to seal that now because as it's in there, let's not take it out. Nice touch of the old Tamiya just to make sure it fits in there. I do believe this is a bit for the ball turret, it seems to be in the right position. So we'll just yeah, seal the deal with that. This is a brilliant fitting model. I mean, I'm nowhere near completion, but it's really encouraging when you start doing the internal parts of a model and it goes together so well with this piece. Slot that in and it clips in like that. Now for the gun mount, which goes on these bits. Need a little squidge. Little squidge, I like that. That goes in now. Locating on those little bits there, I believe. He says, as he can't fit it. Oh crikey. You know, there are times when I just think, what am I doing? Not modelling, just, what do you like? It can't be that hard. And it isn't when you actually get your right mind to it. Just give that a push home. There you go. Kept myself busy painting all these little ammunition boxes and whatnot, ready to go in here. And whilst that's drying, I've got this bit to put in. So using my favourite Revel again, just dry fit it first, just to make sure it's going in the right place. Okay, it goes in there like that. Oh, that's lovely, that is nice. Right, okay, so a couple of spots there. And there. To secure that piece in place. And apart from a few small components which I'll not bore you with, that is almost the interior done. So that's one half of the fuselage done. So I've added all the little bits and painted where I need to paint. A bit of touching up on where I had to take things off the sprue, but that's not going to take me too long. I'll do the other half because it's pretty much exactly the same as this half. Do that off camera, and then we'll look at doing some lighting and some electronics, I think, because yeah, putting all this detail in here, I don't want to lose it. I want to be able to see it through the clear parts. Right, the two halves are now complete, so I'm just going to do a dry fit to make sure they do actually slot together nicely, to make sure I haven't glued anything in the wrong place. And things will fit together. Oh, there's something stopping that from going together. What is it? It's always a good idea to do this, I think, before you make a plan to seal the deal with putting the fuselage together. There's something there that's not going together properly, and I'm trying to figure out. Bottom's fine, so it's got to be some of the top support here somewhere, and it's looking like it's that piece. Oh no, it was just me. Yeah, that'll go with a squeeze, that'll go together nicely actually. That's good, that's very good. Off camera I've done some wiring, some LED mounting and whatnot, and so I've got 4 LEDs in what I think will be strategic areas to light the model up. So I haven't done the cockpit because you'll be able to see that anyway, but the forward turret, the bomb bay, and also the radio operators area and the mid gunners, which will shine through, I hope, to the rear gunner as well. So I'll get the few other fuselage half on, close it up and have another look. Okay, the final looks, yeah, that looks, I think that looks very passable as a yeah, I think the lights are doing well there. That's quite good. You can see right down the plane as well now, so you can see that on. I'll try and position it on the camera. Oh dear, I'll get there in the end. There we go. So yeah, that should light up all the important positions, and yeah, show off the internal detail, which is what my intention was in the first place. So yeah, I'll crack on with getting this fuselage halves together now. So I'll get the wires out of the way. They're going to be running down the front gear, landing gear, to pull them through the board. That's why I didn't need a counterweight. So yeah, let's get this glued. It's an awfully good fit. I must admit, Airfix do make good models for modifications. Especially for me. I do like modifying these models and putting motors and lights and whatnot. So first thing I'm going to do is glue this with a nice bit of Tamiya to get that sealed in. And we'll work our way around and do this bit. And I'm going to let that dry. I'm not going to do any more for the moment. I want that to really settle in before I start putting the halves together. There we go, let that settle now. And then I'm going to use masking tape and do the fuselage as I usually would do. So the bottom half's done and clamped. And now I'm going to do the top section. So, oh, there's a little bit of detritus there I didn't see. I'll just quickly take that off with the scalpel just to make that a bit more of a flush fit, like that. That's better. Right, let's get that done. Just use an initial swipe, a little tiny bit of masking tape across there. Oh, pull it tight and stick that together. So just position it where I want it, and then give that another swipe. Now it's close together like that. And then we do this top section here. Like that. Another piece of tape. Give that a squeeze and then join that together real tight. And do this piece. Another section of tape. And join that together. Now I seem to have a problem, only a little bit of a problem, with the ball turret joint mounts. They're keeping it apart ever so slightly there. I mean, there's filler and stuff, but that's probably me where I didn't put the ball turret bits in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue up to that point and then use filler. So I'm going to squeeze that together as tight as I possibly can. Put initial swipe in there. Like that. And then just squeeze that to death. And then just tape that as hard as I can together, like that. And then run a bit more down. See it wicking? I don't know if you saw that on the camera, but it wicked. So that's good. And then I'll carry on doing that and try and make this hole as small as possible. So some more lengths of tape. One. It would be an absolute disgrace if light leaks through these gaps, and I just don't want that to happen. So again, another sharp squeeze, and then set that up to be taped like that. And get our piece of tape, squeeze really hard, and then tape that together like that. Hopefully the Tamiya will grip it. See it flexing, so I'm going to put another bit of tape on that just to make sure that stays together as tight as possible. So I'm going to use a bit more Tamiya and hope it wicks down between the joints. As I said, that'll probably be a little tiny bit of filler there. It's not a disaster. It's just I probably didn't do it properly or something. But yeah, I've decided to have the Bombay doors shut on this build. The reason being is I want the light to stay in the model, not bash out onto the board underneath. And of course, because it's going to be fixed to a board, you're not going to be able to see up into the Bombay anyway, so there's not much point of all that effort. I will use the bombs, but not here. Anyway, what I've done is I've got the Bombay doors and I've tidied them up and I've written 1, 2, 3 and 4 on them as per the instructions. So I'm going to fit them. So with the front of the model that way, replicating the picture on the instructions, number 1 fits there. A little bit of Tamiya, Revlon there, and those 2 little hooks. So number 1, denoted by the 1. I have to do these things, otherwise I lose track of what I'm doing. And that fits in there, I hope, like that. I'm minding fingerprints, which I'm trying to do. That is a beautiful fit. That's, I mean, I don't know if the camera shows that, but that is like hand and glove scenario. Superb. Right, number 2 goes there. This being number 2. I'll drop this in. Number 3. That's number 3. Make sure there's no rubbish on it. Put that in there like that. And then number 4. Oh, oh, went perfectly up until then. Number 4, come on, in you go. Number 4, I've got a little hole there. That's my fault. So I'll fill that. That's my error. That's not the model at all. But they fit perfectly. They are. It's just, I've never had a heavy bomber with the doors closed as good as that. That is amazing. Time to start fixing the tail plane. Again, it's a perfect fit. Well done, Airfix. So I'm going to add it on with a little bit of Tamiya on top there first. It's like that. I'll just hold that in place for a few seconds while that goes off. With the paint scheme, I'm looking at it, this is one I've chosen, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to mask this and do all the under painting and all this with the model complete. So I'm going to work on just the fuselage, get all the clear parts on, get all this painted and finished, varnished, transfers, everything on it, and then I'm going to move to the wings. I think that's a sensible option for this build, otherwise I'm going to be struggling to turn the model around and do all stuff and whatnot. So that's my plan of action. So the cockpit screen is in, it's fitted lovely. I've done all the masking off camera because yeah, that's not exactly the most interesting thing to watch. So I just seal the deal with a little bit of Tamiya around the edges. like everything else, it went on perfectly okay. No need for filing, filling or anything else. It's really, really good. So now I'm going to carry on doing the turrets and whatnot, and then we'll look to painting it. That's 3 turrets built. All I've got left now is the clear parts to go on. I'm thinking I might put a little bit of silver onto these gun sights just to give them a little bit of interest. But yeah, they went together really well. All I've got to do now is the ball turret, and we're going forward. The ball turret. The enigma of every American World War II bomber. Enigma, I don't know what it's called, challenge. I tend to get them together like that, get me a cocktail stick, and I do this to prevent fingerprints. So I'm just going to hold that in position, a little bit of Tamiya, and just drop it there and there. I've never had a problem with Tamiya and clear parts. And just hold that there because it will ping off if I let it go. To finish the turret off, a little bit of Tamiya in the side there, just to hold that, and I'm going to leave it now, let that go off for at least half an hour before I touch it again. Right, so add in the top section of the wing. I'll put some glue in each of these pots. Some on the end there, then offer the top part up like that, and just close it ever so slowly. Oh, he says. There we go. Right, now with my clamps, because they're wing shaped, I know they're hair grips but they are wing shaped, they do tend to fit wings rather well. I'm going to clamp all these as tight as I can, and then run around the wings with Tamiya to seal the deal. But for the moment I'm just doing the pots to make sure the wings stay together, whilst the interior bits glue. There we go. Now I've got a gap there, so I'm going to have to use some of my smaller hair clips on there if they'll grip it. Yep. And then run some Tamiya, as I said, around that just to seal it all up, because the last thing I want to do is start putting filler on this. I'll just stick that one in there to be sure, and then yeah, let that go off. So now I'm going to run a little bit of bead of Tamiya along this front edge here, just there. It doesn't seem to be wanting to go together, and then I'm going to tape it, I think, like I did with the fuselage. And we'll start that glue off, get some tape ready. As I said, I don't really want to use filler, so 2 will do probably, I think. Everywhere else it's gone together really nicely, but just that piece it hasn't. So we'll just run some glue in there, like that. Give that a squeeze, put the tape over it, and then pull it down really tight on there like that. And then do the same with that section. Put some tape on there. Oh, crikey. And then pull it down really tight. And then what I'll do, whilst I've got the glue out, run a bead along here and put the clamps back on. And then refit these clamps. And just generally leave that now for 15-20 minutes until the glue cures, and then move on with the build to do something else. That tape's come loose. Oh, bugger, that's it. Put that on there and then put that bit on there. There we go. And just let that cure now. Now for the engines. A little bit of a squirt of that. Oh, that's weird. I'm sure that's the right piece. I just realised what I've done. Silly bugger. There we go, I've got ahead of myself. What on earth? Oh, I've got the wrong bit cut off. Trying again after reading the instructions properly. Silly bugger. Oh, there goes the shed door. Oh dear. Oh, you gotta laugh at yourself. I thought I was doing ever so well. Oh, cripes. Why doesn't that go? Oh, that's it. There it goes. I thought I'd run the same thing again then. There we go. That's on. I've not had morning coffee yet. That's all it is. That's what I'm saying. I've not had morning coffee yet. Engines next. I can't get this wrong. They're all the same part number. Oh, I'm still laughing over that. I can't help but giggle at myself sometimes. I just think, how on earth did you manage to do that? So I'm just being a bit careful here to make sure. There's a little dot there. I don't quite know what that denotes, but I think I'm going to put the dot facing in because there's no pin on that piece. So yeah, and instructions aren't really that clear. No, obviously it is around the other way. Right, I'm going to go and get myself a coffee in a minute. Well, I'll get that down on there. And there's enough residue glue on there just to do that bit there, I think. Lesson learnt for the other three. Oh, cripes. Goes that way. That's it. Right. And give that a good push down. There we go. Yeah. So 3 more of those. And then I should give them a coat of 53 because that's what it asks for in the instructions. Putting together a set of the ailerons for the wings. A little bit of a dab all along there. Probably way too much. So trying to avoid the fingerprints that I know are coming. Put that together and then using my little hair clamps, grips, whatever. Pin those two together until it cures. Oh, crikey, and let that go off. Oh, same as the other one, didn't. Just got to square that end up. That's it. And let that cure now. Cool. Fitting said aileron to the wing. Aileron, whatever. Little dip of Tamiya there. And then clamp that into place. And then clamp this bit in. That's it. Just trying to get that end secured first. Quick look over the top, make sure it's all flush. which it is, lovely. And then more Tamiya, and just give it a sweep up there like that. And apply 2 more clamps just to hold it all in place until the Tamiya's gone off. Painted the engines 56 I think it was, rather than 53, give them a bit more brightness. I didn't do too much on the flaps here because that's going to be covered in paint from when I paint the wings and fuselage and whatnot. So anyway, set the engine into its cowling, and then using Tamiya again, I'm just going to swipe around the edges of each one like that, just to seal them up. I'm going to have to paint them again anyway, and they will be 53 because I quite like the colour 53. And I'll do that with a paintbrush and starter pot at the end when I'm doing the final touches to each one. So fitting the engine to the wing, I did this bit, well I skipped this bit in the instructions because I was frightened of knocking them off. So taking note of the indent to line up with that bit there, I just push home, I believe it or not, that's it, we're in. Let's give it a bit of a push and the engine's on. And I'll quickly do another one. Again taking note of the indent and then pushing that one home. There we go, making sure all the seams are there. I don't want to be using filler unless I really have to. There we go. That's 2 engines in place. I'm not doing the flaps until the last because I want the flaps down. So I'm going to leave that until the last minute. I'm dry fitting the wings in place just to see how they fit before I start painting, and I've found some gaps. So my plan to paint these separately is no longer viable because I've got to glue these wings on and fill these gaps. If you can see them or not, there's just 2 huge gaps either side, on either side of the underside of the wing. The top side is beautiful, not a problem at all, absolutely marvellous. The underside, awful. I'm sure it's not what I've done. I've gone for the instructions, I've made sure everything should be where it is. So yeah, a bit disappointing, but yeah, plan B basically. Right, before I join the wings on and do all the filling and gluing and whatnot, I'm looking at this camo, or this paint scheme. And these waves, I want them consistent across both halves of the aircraft. So, I've got a bit of card off the side of the box, and using something round, like an acrylic paint pot, I'm going to try and replicate that. This may not be brilliant, but it's the only way I can think of doing it. So if I start at the end, get it there and just draw around the pot like so, and then go along to another one like that and try and join the 2 up like that. Go, see, I'm getting the curves, and then do it again this side like that, and then again like that, and so on, so on, so on. And I'm hoping to create myself a template that I can use as a marking board, if you will, for the bottom of the paintwork there. It doesn't look, let's hold it against the model and see what it looks like. Yeah. Not entirely satisfied because that sort of jumps up to there on the paintwork and then goes along. So I've got 2 peaks, 3 peaks before, so they're too big. Right, okay, so we'll start again and just find something smaller. Button battery's too big. I'll have a rummage around, see if it's lighter. Oh, don't smoke, this is just for clearing the tube on the glue. That's actually better sized. So we'll do it again and we'll just use the clipper lighter as a template. Anyway, I'll get on with that and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. So I've cut myself out a template basically for the masking tape. So for this side of the model, if I hold it up as per the artwork so it meets the thing there, the masking tape will work. All I have to do for the other side is slip the cardboard around, and I've got a template for that side to cut the masking tape to. So yeah, that's my tip of the day. Okay, fixing wings on. I'm going to put a little bit of revel in there because the top section of the wing does locate there, and then a little bit on each of these spars just to make sure it stays where it's put. And I haven't put it right up the fuselage because it will slide up the plastic as I push it on. So there we go, here goes nothing. Locating it very slowly and push it home. There we go, and let that go off. As I said, there's a bit of a, oh, it's gone. So I could have done it after all. Oh, I'm having some fun with this build. Silly old sod. So both wings are on, they both fit perfectly okay. There's no gaps now. So, so yeah, it's plan A and B. Oh, I'm going to let that cure for half hour or so while I go and take a sensible pill or something. Right, it's time to paint the bird, and that's the closest I've got. The instructions are asking for 128. I've got 125 matte, and looking at the artwork, it's close enough to be fair, I think. So I'm going to use that. Mix up the pot and we'll crack on with it. Right, painting, well, the main painting's done. Just giving it a coat of gloss varnish to lock everything in, and then I shall start painting the black leading edges of the wings and the rudder parts. I've tried to mask these leading edges and it's just too fiddly, so I'm going to take a very small flat brush and just paint it on. Very slowly, very carefully. It'll take some time, but meh, still better than watching telly. When brush painting surfaces like this, and honestly I can't bother to fire the airbrush up for two little tiny bits like this, I get my flat brush and I dampen it, just dip it in the water like this. I'll pull it out actually, just break the surface tension. That's it, nothing else, just a little tiny dab of water. And then I take the paint, again just enough, and then I paint it in the direction of the aircraft, which, you know, the aircraft would be going if it was in flight. And it seems to me that I get quite a good coverage. You might need 2 or 3 coats, and it does seem to be breaking up there, but honestly it will be fine. 2 or 3 coats and just drag it in the direction of the aircraft like that. Just to bring it over. This is the base colour black, and what I would do is when that dries I'll give it another coat and another coat until it's all done. Just that I can't see the point in getting the airbrush fired up, having to clean the airbrush afterwards, what is essentially a small surface. I'm using Revell's own black because it's a bit blacker than 33 Humbrol. But there you go, I've got good coverage now. So by the time I've done this one, sorry, that'll be dry, I can go into the second coat. There we go, brush painted tailplane rudders things, and yeah, I think that's come out quite well actually. So they should go on the plane next. Right, landing gear, cut it off the sprue, just clean off, I've heard them called gates recently, so I'm going to call them that. Sprue gates, a little bit of scalpel fettling. Like this. I did airbrush them with some metallic paint, but on the sprue it didn't come out too well, so I'll repaint that by brush, I think, because yeah, it just didn't, it looks awful. So I should do that again. The thing with landing gear parts is, and the reason why I paint them on the sprue, is because they're very, very delicate, and yeah, once they're formed up and inside the model they're brilliant, but off the sprue, well, let's put it this way, I've had many of aircraft I intended to have on the ground that I ended up in the air on a stand. Being a bit clumsy. So yeah, especially parts like this, very, very small, and to these big maulers, quite easy to break. And so I know they can be fixed, but I'd rather not go down that route if I can avoid it. So yeah, I'll finish cleaning these up and then we'll start assembling. What I've decided to do is fit all the decal transfers before I carry on, before I start adding little posts like this and the turrets and wheels that I can snap off and lose. I figured if I do that I can spin the model almost unrestricted to get all these bits and pieces on. So that's what I'm going to do next. So all the decals are done, varnished and on. And I must admit they have gone on rather well. especially that side there. I had to jig it with a scalpel, but it's gone on rather nicely, and the other side as well. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I moved to this bench, the painting, what I usually use for painting, because it's now too big for my model stand. I can't get it to lay flat, and I'm aiming to do the landing gear next. So let's have a look at this. I've got to get these round the right way because I stupidly didn't make note of which one comes from where, but I would imagine that one goes in there like that, just as a quick dry fit. That appears to be how it goes. So we'll glue that into place, touch the old revel in there, a touch in there, and then very carefully, without snapping it, he says, lower it in to its hole, which is not looking as easy as I thought. No, it's in. Get that in now. There we go. Like everything else on this build so far, it's a brilliant fit. I've just got to turn that round because that isn't sitting square with, that's it. Excellent. I've got the wheels in place. I've left them loose while I square them up, and now they're square and ready to go. I'm going to get a drop of Tamiya and just touch the axle on each one so they're fixed. There we go. I'll let them go oft. Right, fixing the front landing gear. I've made a bit of a boo-boo. Where I've run the cables, I've somehow managed to wrap the wires around the very thing that the landing gear sticks to. Oops. So yeah, I'm going to have to put the landing gear back to front, but it is what it is. We make these mistakes, and if you can overcome them, that's fine. So yeah, I'm going to have to put this in that way, not that way. Ho hum, it is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Once it's on the board and everything else, it's not really going to notice anyway, so yeah, I'm going to do that. After a bit of fettling, it's in and it's glued. All I've got to do now is run these wires either side, or turn it round actually, make it more sense as to what I'm trying to do. I'm going to run these two wires either side of that support structure into the board and out to the battery switch and whatnot. So yeah, a bit of a boo-boo on my part, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, I suppose. The underside of the Liberator's now finished. I've just got to add the flaps, which I'll do in a while, and a clear part there. But other than that, it's all done. I'm just letting the landing gear dry off now. It's all been set. So yeah, I'm going to leave that overnight, let it settle, and then come back and do the top. So I'll pop the model over, and I've got it on its board now. The wires are holding it in place, but just to make sure it doesn't move, I'm going to lift it slightly that way and drop a bit of super glue onto each wheel so that the model stays where it is. So very carefully lift that up, drop a little bit under there and drop it down onto the wheel there. And the same the other side. Lift it ever so slightly, a little bit of super glue, and then drop it down. There we go. So I'm not going to bother gluing the front because the wires are there to hold that down. So let that go off, and then we can start adding the turrets, the side guns, the tailplane to finish off. They fit in the rear turret before I do the tailplane. Completely rudders off so I don't damage them. I do believe that just clicks in, so I'm going to get it in the rim and just give it a push. Hopefully it'll go without breaking. Here we go, cross fingers. It's in, there we go, she's in and it moves. That's alright, it's good. I'm not going to bother to glue that, that's fine. That's good. Right, now for the rudders, all these bits. So one goes on that side. Oh, lovely fit. It's just, just really good. So we'll get them on next. A bit of the old, so I'm having to switch between desks here because multiple tools everywhere at the moment. So a little bit of revel in there. And then very slowly offer it up and push it home. There we go. I'm going to make sure that's square when I've got the other one fixed. Just put a little bit of revel in there and then push that one home. I didn't dry fit this one, so this could be a calamity. No, it's fine. I'll just turn it round for a couple of seconds just to make sure that they're both square. I think that's more than adequate. That's good. Oh, it's starting to look, well, I'm very pleased. That one could do with coming out a little tiny bit more like that, I think. Just square it up for the wings. Yeah, that looks alright. Yeah. Now, mid-upper turret, which I've got here. That would hopefully just drop straight in, he says. There we go, it's in. I'm going to glue this one because it's bound to fall out if I don't. So a little bit of revel on each bit of those. Just a tiny bit. And then sink that one in there. Just square it up a little bit, that's it. And now the front turret, just there. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to clip in like the rear turret did. Doesn't seem to be sitting right. There we go. I think that's bouncing around all over the place. I think that's supposed to locate on this piece here. If I get something pointy, this piece here. So I'm going to try that again. Waggle it onto the piece it's got to go onto. And then a little bit of fettling. Push it home. No, not quite. Oh. Come on, you know you want to. I don't want to push too hard in case something breaks. Right, that's it. It's in. Right, to seal that one, I'm going to use a little bit of Tamiya. Just at the back of the turret here. There, just to make sure it doesn't move out. Just there. There we go, and let that just do its thing. I wired the LEDs off camera, so when I push the light, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, I like that. So now I'm going to demask the screen, and then we can add the avionics on the top and the 4 props, and we'll be done. So there we are. my version of Airfix's very excellent B24 Liberator with working lights. It's an excellent model. It goes together ever so well. It's just a shame that my skills didn't do the kit justice, but I am pleased with the build. I'm really pleased I took it on. So yeah, if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you next edition. Cheers.